Hi, readers. Welcome to
Kids' Books with Pictures.
Are you ready to read a fun story today? Well, come on, let's start reading. Today's story is about a boy who learns about music from his grandma. Grandma's Records by Velaquez. Every year, right after the last day of school, I'd pack a suitcase with my cool summer clothes, my favorite toys, and a sketchbook. Then my dog Daisy and I were off to Grandma's apartment in El Barrio. Because my parents worked, Grandma's apartment was my summer home. From the time my parents dropped me off until the day they picked me up, Grandma wrapped me in her world of music. Sometimes, when she played a record, we would dance together. Other times, she would dance alone and tell me her stories about growing up in Puerto Rico. When Grandma played a merengue from the Dominican Republic, her hips would sway from side to side. As her favorite salsa record played, she'd say, "Just listen to that conga," while she played an imaginary drum. Grandma liked all types of music, but one record was very special to her. Whenever she played it, she would put her hand over her heart and close her eyes as she sang along. When it was over, Grandma would sometimes sit quietly, thinking about Grandpa and the old days in Santurce, her hometown. Sometimes, Grandma said, a song can say everything that is in your heart as if it is written just for you. My favorite days were the ones when Grandma would tell me, "You pick the records today." No matter what I would choose, Grandma would always say, "Siempre me gustó tu selección." I always like your selection. Sometimes I would sneak in Grandma's special song just to watch her put her hand over her heart and sing. Then she'd always ask, "¿Cómo tú sabes?" How did you know? If it was too hot to go outside, I'd spend hours looking through all Grandma's album covers. I'd pick out my favorites and make sketches of the art. As I drew, I could see record covers coming to life and the bands performing right there in Grandma's living room. Grandma never went to any nightclubs to see her favorite bands perform. She was happy just to stay home with me and listen to her scratchy records. But Santurce was home to hundreds of musicians, and she knew a lot of the people who played on the records. Grandma's nephew, Sammy, played percussion in Rafael Cortijo's band, the best band in Puerto Rico. One day, when the band was in town, Sammy brought over Cortijo and the band's lead singer, Ismael Rivera, for a surprise visit. Home-cooked meals were hard to come by on the road, and they couldn't pass up the chance to taste Grandma's famous arroz con gandules, rice and pigeon peas. While eating dessert, Sammy had another surprise for Grandma. 2 tickets to the band's first New York concert and their brand new record, which wasn't even in the stores yet. I raced over to the record player, thrilled to be the first New Yorker to hear their latest music. The next day, Grandma and I spent all day shopping for clothes to wear to the show. She even made me get a haircut. The theater was all the way up in the Bronx. We took the subway there, and Grandma was nervous during the whole ride. When we got to the theater, we walked past the long line of people and went right inside because of our special tickets. The theater was bigger than all the movie theaters I had ever gone to. The band made a spectacular entrance. Suddenly, the theater went dark. Tiny lights glittered, and a loud siren filled the air. I heard Grandma gasp, "Ay, Dios mío!" Oh my God! She thought something was wrong. The darkened stage seemed to fill with people running back and forth in confusion. Next, everything went dark again, and a loud and steady conga beat began to boom, bak boom, bak boom, bak. Then the lights came on with a loud boom, and the band began to play the song El Bonbon de Elena, Elena's Candy. Grandma and I were surprised at how different the music sounded live. The musicians made familiar songs sound fresh by adding new musical phrases and words. Before the last song began, Ismael said, "This one goes out to Carmen," and he pointed to Grandma as he sang her special song. I looked at her as she put her hand over her heart, raised the other hand, closed her eyes, and began to sing along. Ismael was singing to my grandma. Then I looked around and realized that everyone in the theater had their hands over their hearts too. After the show, we went backstage. I asked Ismael how he knew about Grandma's song. He explained that the song was about coming to a new country and having to leave those you love behind. People put their hands over their hearts to show that their hearts remain in Puerto Rico, even though they may be far away. Now I understood why Grandma's song was special to so many people. Over the next days and weeks, Grandma and I put on our shows imitating Cortijo's band. Grandma wished such a special night had been captured in a recording so that she could listen to it again and again. But even then, I knew that a concert is so special because it leaves you with the memory of a magical moment in time. As I got older, I started bringing over records to play for Grandma, Brazilian music, jazz, and even rap. She loved listening to it all. Even now, when I'm playing my CDs in my studio, I imagine I'm back in Grandma's living room and she turns to me and says, "You be the DJ today. Siempre me gusto tu selección." As I work, Grandma's special song surrounds me. Hey readers, wasn't that a good story? Tap the thumbs up to like this video and make sure you subscribe so you can hear new stories at
Kids Books with Pictures.
And don't forget to share this video with your friends. See you next time.